People say MLS is a retirement league. No one really respects it.
The guys who first started this MLS stuff, like, they was really going through it.
They flew commercial.
Beckham would always get his own private jet.
Welcome back to the Rondo. MLS is kicking off its season in February, and in honor of that, today we're going to be discussing the #1 most asked question in our comment section. Is MLS actually good? Tom, Raheem, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to sum up your take before we get right into it. Tom, go ahead.
Yes, but we need to change our expectations about what good means, right? Like, MLS has only been around for 30 years, and for its 30 years of existence, it's absolutely smashed it. If we keep that in mind, this is a really good league and will become one of the best in the world.
Raheem, what do you think?
Man, I'm going to say no. I think MLS needs to be a lot further than what it has been. I think the league has grown a lot and there's been a lot of improvements, but on a global scale, when we're comparing us to some of the best leagues in the world, it's not there yet.
All right, I'm pumped for this conversation because I feel like you guys both have good credentials. Tom, professional U.S. soccer journalist, talk to MLS people all the time. Raheem, former MLS Academy and U.S. Youth National Team player.
With crazy motion.
With crazy motion. 99 overall pace. I feel like before we get into it, though, we need a little bit of background and history of the league, right?
Oh, I can cook.
Oh,
Tom,
absolutely.
brief history of MLS. When was it founded and who were the founding clubs?
This starts with the 1994 World Cup, right? US soccer is like, we can host the World Cup. FIFA's like, great, but you have to have a professional league. US soccer go, what? So this fella named Alan Rothenberg, who is like this crazy white lawyer, so think Raheem, but like not as cool, not Jamaican, and with a law degree, goes to 10 local businessmen and says, you need soccer-specific stadiums, you got to put a bunch of money into this, it's going to be sick, everyone loves it. And they all go, a lot of them go, fuck off, dude. Like, why should we build a soccer-specific stadium?
Because soccer was not big in the U.S. at this point.
Exactly. So they come to an agreement that, okay, forget the 10 businessmen with soccer-specific stadiums. And it starts in 1996, and here we go, boys.
How was that first season received?
Surprisingly quite well. There was a real momentum after the 1994 World Cup. You had good crowds. Alexi Lalas was there. Come on now.
Yeah, come on now. You got to love that long hair. For sure.
He's kind of cute.
Oh, God, yeah, throwback.
All right, where does the league find itself now 30 years later?
The first thing you need to keep in mind is that in 2001, it almost folded. There had been losses of $250 million over its first 5 years. Think about it this way. If you took the 6th most popular sport in America right now with not that much money and said, by the way, you don't have a broadcast deal or TV rights, but make a professional league, go.
Hell no.
It's impossible.
Of course it's losing money.
Yeah.
So anyway, the boys rally together. They save it. Right now we have 30 teams. It's financially stable. Lionel Messi plays here. And teams are now valued at what? $1.5 billion?
$1.45 billion in Miami.
We're rounding up, baby. This thing needs to dream big.
If only the Tampa Bay Mutiny still existed, man.
Dude, yeah.
The whole support your local, Raheem.
Unfortunately, one of the casualties of the initial MLS, man. I wish they still existed, bro. They had the best kits in MLS. Carlos Valderrama, number 10. Tampa Bay Mutiny kit. If you're on Depop, that's a grail right there.
Where does MLS rank right now in terms of the world leagues?
You want the nerdy numbers first?
Yeah, I want the nerdy.
So, right, so there's this thing called Opta, right? And they do their global power rankings, which are all a bit silly. But right now it has MLS 11th in the world, which is actually quite low.
Yeah.
But your asterisk, what is it, 5 years ago? MLS wasn't even in the top 15.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's moving up and up and up and up and up. It's just outside the top 10. Once play starts, you'll be right there.
All right, so MLS has grown a ton. I guess you could say it has definitely been a success.
Yeah.
But the question that everyone loves to debate, and Raheem, I'll give you first go on this. Will it ever become a top 5 league in the world?
I think it's going to be very difficult for MLS to be a top 5 league in the world. First of all, the salary cap, man. Guys need to get paid at the end of the day. The superstars of the world's game are not coming to a league we're going to make less than $2 million a season, if that, or if there's only 3 players on the squad that can make over $2 million a season. You got to think about it. Players in Serie A are making $4 to $8 mil a year in Serie A, and that's a league that we consider not the commercially most highest league, as opposed to the Premier League, for example. Premier League has insane money as well. So if you're going to a player and you're expecting them to come to America in a league that is less, like on a global scale, seen as a lesser league, and there's less money as well, it doesn't make sense for a lot of players to come here in their prime.
Yeah, and you think that will overall stop MLS from being a top 5 league?
Listen, man, you need to take the training wheels off, straight up. A lot of teams, they have the salary cap stops a lot of teams from being great, because you got to look at it from this perspective. If you're a team and you have 3 DP slots, you're going to fill them with your best players. Then you have a number of international spots, where does that leave the rest of the roster? That means the squad from 15 to 25 is going to be college players or players who make less money, which means that the team is going to be worse, which is why MLS teams struggle in competitions or when they have a lot of injuries, because the depth issues because of the salary cap are a big issue.
Yeah.
Whereas in Europe, if you're signing any player you want at any time, the only thing stopping you is maybe an international quote on the number of players that you could have from different countries. I mean, you're still getting the best of the best and you have the money to spend on them.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the money to spend on them, then they're not going to come here.
Tom, do you think that MLS will ever be a top 5 league in the world?
Yes, but you got to give it time, man. The thing about MLS is that it was really scared to grow at first, right? And like, dude, think about it. As a league, it kind of has PTSD, bro. This thing almost died 25 years ago. And they've literally marketed it as going in phases. MLS 1.0, MLS 2.0. Now we're at the start of MLS 3.0. And a big part of that is soccer-specific stadiums, which we can come on to, pause.
Pause. We're keeping that in.
I'm sorry.
We're keeping that in.
And changing the salary cap and thinking about how salary restrictions change. Put it this way, more simply, MLS is on the up, everywhere else is holding steady.
Yeah.
Don't expect MLS to be top 5 within 5 years. Ask me in 20. And that's the reality.
Tom, does MLS need to become a top 5 league in the world to be considered a success?
And Corbin Mills, you have brought up the excellent point. No. It doesn't have to be, but this is an American exceptionalism thing. Like, guys, we got to be the best, man. Like, we're going to win the World Cup. We're going to win everything at the Olympics. No. The Brazilian Serie A isn't a top 5 in the league in the world, and it will never be. But people don't sit here and go, well, aren't Palmeiras?
That is true.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be. All you need to be is good. But it's like, what is good?
Raheem.
And that's why we're having this conversation.
Raheem, what do you think? Does it need to be a top 5 league to be considered successful?
Absolutely. Think about it. The American market, this is where all the clubs are coming. This is where you make your money. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we look at the American market, especially the people here. Everybody around the world has their eyes on America, whether they like it or not.
Sure.
That's true.
If you're a former player, you play with all these dudes, you know what it's like. Do they need that prestige? Do you feel like you have to be in a top 5 league to be legit?
I feel like being in a top 5 league is what you aspire to be in as a player in general. Like, at the end of the day, if you're playing and you're having this career, you want to be the best journalist you can, right? I would want to be the best.
Top 5 journalist.
Yeah, you yeah. If you could get the acclaim to be the top 5 journalist in the world, you wouldn't want to be there, right? You would want to be there.
Opta Power has Tom Hindle ranked as the 378th best journalist.
His power index is -5.
Listen, at the end of the day, you want to chase success. So for MLS, in order to be that successful league, what's the point of having a team worth $1.4 billion if the league's not good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, but the 1.4 billion is kind of skewed, isn't it? Because it's Messi.
Yeah, that's true. Although you do have a lot of clubs in there. LAFC, LA Galaxy, some of the other higher valuation clubs don't have Messi and never will.
But you know what's funny about them, though? That's marketing.
Yeah.
Like, those clubs are good, but like, I mean, this is an interesting conversation, but it's like, would they compete in certain leagues? Who knows? But like, LAFC look cool and they have Hyun-Min Son.
Yeah. And
LA Galaxy are a legacy brand that David Beckham used to play for. Inter Miami have Lionel Messi. Valuations come a lot from commercial interest.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Sportico, which released the club valuations, had some talk about Inter Miami's revenue, and a majority of their revenue does not come from MLS or the MLS broadcast rights deal, which is very different to what the NFL and the NBA and the other big American leagues are like, which means they're getting a lot of money from kit sales, a lot of money from their partnerships and sponsorships, and that is the Messi effect, because you don't see Sporting KC or the other smaller market teams get that.
Either that or it's the crazy motion of Noah Allen.
Yeah. Noah Allenopoulos. Friend of the show.
Noah Allen.
Friend of the show, friend of goal.
show. Yeah.
We love him. We love the Greek national team. Noah Allenopoulos. Okay. A lot of people talk about MLS and where it stacks up in the league rankings, but I think it most closely gets compared to one league abroad for a lot of reasons. And that's the English Championship. And so, guys, is MLS a better development league than the English Championship?
I wouldn't believe so. I think the championship gives you a higher level and a bigger stage to play on to impress Premier League clubs. At the end of the day, you go to the championship, you know that if you score 15 to 20 goals in a season, you're going to a Premier League team. Now, let's say this. All right, we've seen a significant amount of young MLS players go to the Premier League now with varying degrees of success.
Sure.
We've seen Gaga Slonina go to Chelsea. We've seen Caleb Wiley go to Chelsea. Where are they?
They're not in Chelsea's lineup.
Where
Where
at?
are they?
Well,
Where
there
they at,
are
though?
30 guys in that first team
Yeah.
like locker room, but they're not there.
They're not there. So for me, if you're an MLS player going straight to the Premier League, they're not even looking at you for minutes. Matter of fact, you're going to be a lone player off rip. If you're playing in the championship and you score goals and you go to a Premier League club, you're going to play because they see that you scored in a league that they're familiar with. A lot of scouts, unfortunately, in Europe, look at MLS as a lesser league. They look at the talent there and be like, okay, he's scoring goals in MLS, but he's not quite ready yet. I'll give you a perfect example. Tati Castellanos from West Ham United, he didn't go from NYCFC to West Ham. He went from NYCFC to Lazio to West Ham. The reason why is because you need that level before you get to the Premier League to prove yourself in order to get those minutes in the Prem. And I just don't believe from MLS you're going to get those minutes.
All right, this is really
straight
interesting.
into the Premier League.
Raheem, you're a former professional player. You got a lot of professional player friends and agents. Are agents advising their clients in MLS to make another move to another league that's not MLS before going to try and hit that Premier League high?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I think a great example of this is Mark McKenzie. So Mark McKenzie went from MLS to Genk. Now he's in France, and now that next step is probably going to be the Premier League. If you looked at Mark McKenzie at 2021, I don't think he's going to be going to the Premier League at the age of 20 compared to, like, for example, like a Saliba or somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
It's just at the end of the day, the Premier League is looking at MLS guys and they're thinking, he's not quite ready yet. You know, let's give him some time in a different league. And I think this is on a lot of agents, because a lot of agents that you'll see, like with the John Duran situation, which is a big one, they go to the Premier League early, they want the money, they want the riches, and then they move on to a bigger club. And it's like, you're not looking out for the best intentions of the player. Like sometimes a player needs that step before that big step. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's really hard to go from here to here. Sometimes you need that middle passage in order to go to that next level. And I feel like a lot of players, either they don't have the patience or they're hearing from their agents, hey, there's a bigger salary at this bigger club, go here now, or you may not see that money again.
All right, so
it's not always the truth.
Sorry, I do dispute your John Duran thing, because I think he just wanted to play for every washed league before he got to like 22.
MLS,
he went MLS,
Saudi.
Saudi, Turkey.
And now he's in Russia.
Which is crazy, by the way.
He's 4 out of 5. How many Infinity Stones does Thanos
He's trying to
wants all of them.
get sanctioned by the U.S. government so bad.
So bad.
John Duran, welcome to FC Tehran. That's where he's going next. Pyongyang United is looking to sign John Duran on a 3-year contract.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so Raheem, that's interesting perspective from the player side, right? Like, you feel like players want to go from MLS to another league before making the jump, whereas from the championship, they'll go right from champ to Prem. Tom, what do you think? Is the championship a better league for player development than the MLS?
No, but it depends on your age. So put it this way, if you are a Ute, as Raheem and you like to say, you should play in MLS for as long as possible until you reach a certain technical level where you can get away with it, right? A good example are players that have got it wrong by going to the championship. Since 2004, you ready? Numbers. 57 Americans have played in the championship.
Which is crazy. It's a lot more than I would think.
It's a lot,
a
right?
lot.
Only 4 have made it from the championship up to the Premier League because they've gone so early. Stay in MLS till you're 25, 26. Then you make your team more money anyway, and then you can take a step up.
57 players have gone to the championship, but I think that also goes to show how much of that is also on the players.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they weren't good enough to even play in the Prem to begin with?
All right, how about this?
But then is that because they played for MLS, like on MLS clubs before they were ready? Like, think about it, right? Like, we were talking to Chris Valde, right? Plays for the Portland Timbers, right? He was like, yo, when I was 14, I was better than Erling Haaland.
He did say that.
He did say that. He said those words. He looked into a camera and said those words. Does that mean if Chris Valde had gotten it right, he would be winning the Ballon d'Or right now?
Absolutely not.
No, but if you put yourselves in the right spot, you're more likely to end up in the at the top.
He should have got to the New England Revolution.
But Chris Valde, was he developed as an American player?
He was in like Norway, Denmark, like he bounced.
He's had a bit of
bounced
a
around.
journeyman
But yeah, but what
development.
I'm trying to say is that like it's all relative, innit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd look at it sometimes like that. I feel like every player has that thing of like, oh, if they made this move or if they did that move, then maybe things would have worked out, especially players who don't make it. Because then you really think about, oh, did this move really affect the way I play?
Yeah.
Did this move, maybe this coach, maybe he didn't appreciate my game as much and I stayed a little bit longer than I should have with him. There's a lot of different factors that go around with making it to the next level. And I think that a lot of people overshadow that.
Okay,
Right.
if you guys are an 18-year-old player right now, Tom, are you picking MLS or a championship?
I'm picking MLS
Why?
because I get to develop. Where honestly, a little bit of pressure's off as well.
Raheem, what are you picking?
Man, nothing beats the pressure of promotion and relegation, especially at a young age. I feel like with MLS, they always talk about it like this. I have a lot of guys in MLS. Once September comes, they know that their games don't matter because they're not making playoffs.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not performing in the championship, like for example, Daryl Dike, who's a friend of mine right now, West Brom is fighting relegation. He would never face that in America, especially as a young player. That promotion, that pressure allows you to perform at a higher level in order to reach those higher levels. Like, for example, if you want to play in the Premier League and you're coming from MLS and your leagues and your games don't matter after September, now you're in a league where every game matters, every game is a dogfight, it's going to be brand new to you. If I'm 18 years old, if I'm playing in the championship, and I'm faced with this experience, this level at a young age, when my time comes to progress to the next level, I'm already ready for it.
Yeah. No, it's really good. I think you guys...
Counter-argument, everyone makes the playoffs in MLS, or they just pro-rel it.
Imagine the single elimination, everyone in MLS makes the playoff.
Oh my God.
Top seed versus lower seed, so it's Inter Miami versus like 10 and 20.
Quickly,
like Colorado Rapids.
Colorado Rapids versus LAFC.
Friend
first
of the
round.
pod, love Colorado Rapids.
Yeah.
But you know how quickly Apple TV will actually release those viewing numbers as well?
Yeah. 10 million people watch LAFC versus Colorado Rapids. Yes, they did, Don Garber. Yes, they did. Okay. I want to keep talking about the player development system. Switching a little bit, go into the academy world. Raheem, you played in the MLS Academy system.
Yes, for Philadelphia Union.
So you got really, really good knowledge here. So I want to start with you. Is the MLS Academy system on par with the rest of the world?
I'll give you this. MLS Academy from ages 13 to 16 is on par with anybody in the world. You go to GA Cup, you go to these youth tournaments. When you see the Kevin Sullivans of the world, they're competing with the Manchester Uniteds, they're competing with the Palmeirases, they're competing with all the teams across the world. It's why Philadelphia Union wins the GA Cup against all these international teams. I would say once that 17 to 18 age range comes and MLS and those players go up to MLS first teams, that's the issue now. For example, I'll give you Nimfasha Berchamus, who plays for Charlotte FC. He's 17 now, and he hasn't really got any minutes with Charlotte FC, despite being one of the stars at the U17 World Cup. Whereas you see some players who were played in the U17 World Cup or U20, they're already playing first team minutes with their clubs in Europe. So it's very difficult. There's this weird gap for MLS teams to try to figure out how do you give playing time to players at a young age. And I think for a lot of MLS teams, they're still trying to figure it out. Whereas in Europe, for a lot of these clubs, they need youth players to play in order to sell them on for a profit.
Okay, so why do you think that is? Is it because of the profit?
Yeah, absolutely. In Europe, they definitely know that these clubs, they need money. At the end of the day, a lot of European clubs are broke. They rely on youth. If they don't sell youth talent, they're actually cooked.
Yeah.
Whereas we're talking about MLS clubs having $1.4 billion valuation. You don't necessarily have to sell anybody in MLS if you don't really want to, because the teams have so much money.
MLS, even if you don't have as much money at a Colorado Rapids as you do as like a Bayern Munich, Colorado Rapids has the salary cap, so there's no way that they are paying more than a certain amount for their roster, and that kind of keeps expenses low, so you don't need to sell as much. Tom, what do you think? Is the MLS Academy system on par with the rest of the world?
First of all, the selling thing, I get that with my career mode Shrewsbury last night. I did 58. At a 58 overall strike, potential to be a 71. He's 19 years old. I had to move him on.
Had to move him on.
Sorry,
That's tough, yeah.
Sorry, whatever your name was.
Gotta pay the kit man's wages.
No, but one thing I will say on this is that this is why MLS Next Pro exists, because you need another option to give people minutes. And MLS has been thinking about that in a bigger picture way by implementing MLS Next Pro and giving you what is effectively high-level reserve football, which European teams offer, right? Every team has a reserve side, U23s, U18s, whatever. So that fills that void. And then also, a lot of individual clubs are doing some really smart stuff. LAFC hired the La Masia guy. You know how insane that is? Los Angeles Football Club pinched the guy who developed Lamine Yamal. That's insane. New York Red Bulls opening a new training facility. Charlotte FC are doing sports science better than anyone in the world. Granted, these are the clubs with the money, but that's the point. There is an acknowledgement that it does need to get there. And I think once you see a crop of players come out of MLS Next Pro, work their way into first teams a bit more consistently, it will get there. A 17-year-old who's played in the five-side cages in Manchester is obviously going to be better equipped.
Nah, bro. He does not have it like the guys who grew up in the suburbs of Houston. You don't know what it's like to have your home valuation go from 800 grand to 750 grand.
Oh my goodness, seriously, bro.
I was talking to someone who was born in America, played in Argentina. He was good at football. He went on trial in Argentina. He was like, man, I can't play at this level. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because the kids he was playing against were like playing to feed their families.
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
And he was like, I could just go into coaching. Like, coaching would be cool.
Yeah,
Like, I could probably go to college.
You
Like,
definitely go see
Literally.
some levels when you
Yeah.
go
But anyway,
overseas.
yeah.
But definitely.
is it inevitable that MLS academies will match the La Masias, the Man City academies of the
Well,
world?
you can get to that mean because there is investment, and also, most importantly, there's investment in American coaching. And everyone talks about that. Like, you need better coaches, you need better coaches. Well, there are now also elite coaching development programs, and that's so important. I bet you, so like all of your coaches when you were a kid, where were they from?
Either from America or like from Europe at some times, but majority of them were like, you know, domestic coaches, probably played college, probably didn't really play so much at the professional level, or there wasn't like an MLS didn't exist for them to play at a level. Because you got to think, when MLS first started, guys were making $20,000 a year playing in MLS back in 01. So if you finished college, why would you even look at that as an option?
So a lot of your coaches are failed pros who have gone, coaching sounds all right. Like, that's not how MLS is starting to look anymore. And it's not the way that America thinks about its coaching anymore. So, to answer your question, once the standard of coaching improves, then everything else does.
That's a really interesting point. Okay.
I do agree with Tom on that as well.
Let's go.
When you look at the system, I think improvement is inevitable. I think MLS has grown so much. There's so much production coming from the coaches. There's so much investment coming into it. But also, I think also some MLS clubs, they put more emphasis on their academies than others. So you can't really compare them. Like, for example, Philadelphia Union, FC Dallas, their goal is to always sign players young, produce them, give them minutes, and sell them overseas.
Yeah.
For a club like LAFC and Inter Miami, their goal is winning. They could care less of having American or young American prospects on their side. So I think what you're starting to see a lot in MLS now is inter-league trades among young players. So like if
Jack McGlynn,
if there's a
Friend of
young
goal.
player who's not going to get the minutes at one team, he might go to another one in order to progress. It's not necessarily meaning that he's not good enough to make it on that team. It's just that this team is more likely and more incentivized to give him minutes.
Yeah.
That comes with growth of the league and development, for sure.
Definitely.
Exactly.
And another thing that's really helping the growth of the league as well is definitely that diversity in coaching. Like, I remember growing up, when you went to these youth national team camps, it'd be the same coaches over and over, just recycled, recycled. If this coach knew this coach from UVA or back in the day, best believe they were head coach and assistant coach somewhere else, just following each other. Nowadays, you're seeing guys come from La Masia, you're seeing guys come from the Bayern Munich academies or coming from Hoffenheim, changing the dynamic of entire MLS clubs and really bringing that professional environment that really is able to make talent produce.
No, that's really good stuff. We can't talk about MLS without talking about the retirement league allegations.
Well, for sure.
That is one of the washed league allegations, the retirement league allegations. Tom, is MLS actually a serious destination for big name players, or is it just a retirement league?
It's a serious destination, and you know what's funny? The retirement league comes off a false narrative in the first place because it's built around David Beckham, right?
Yeah.
What people don't remember is that David Beckham really gave a I get it that it was a drop-off in quality from Real Madrid to LA Galaxy. And yes, he did have to go out on loan to keep the England manager happy, but he cared about being here, man. He was getting in fights. He was having a go at people. He was a competitor. He was an athlete. Now, have people used that premise and taken the money to like get a little holiday in? Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is now, Heung-min Son cares, Thomas Mueller cares, but then you look at Lionel Messi certainly cares. Lionel Messi was pressing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He was putting in off-ball work. He hasn't done that in 5 years.
Raheem, what do you think? Is it a retirement league, or do these guys really care?
I think it really just depends, man. I think throughout the history of MLS, we've seen some good DPs, but for the most part, we've seen some not so good DPs because Jermaine Defoe, another name that came here that didn't really care and didn't really amount to anything. Xherdan Shaqiri a couple years ago came here and didn't really do much and making so much money. And I think with a lot of these players, I think they see coming to America as like this last paycheck and they don't really get to take it serious. So I agree with Tom in that like there's guys like Messi who are really coming in and really taking it by the scruff of their neck as a challenge and making it to as big as what it needs to be at. But there also is some guys who definitely see just coming to MLS as a marketing tactic. Why not come here, invest in my businesses, come to America, have a better life for my children and my kids, get them their green cards and chill and relax and be in America for a couple of years.
Pay lower taxes.
And let's be honest, if you're 33, 34 and you're coming from a European league and you don't really care so much about MLS, of course you're going to come with that mindset. But at the same time, those are the type of guys that are killing the league. And I think with MLS, they've spent so much money on guys like that they can't afford to make those same mistakes again, because that's how you get those label tags.
How do they improve that kind of mindset if you get big name European players who have been there and done that, and they've played in the Champions League, they won their leagues, they're huge global stars? How do you get them to actually care if they don't? Because you're right, we've seen a lot of guys who've come over and they their work rate is terrible.
Don't care.
They don't really do like media apperances.
Insigne left last year.
Insigne,
Didn't care at all.
Bernadeschi.
Yeah,
Okay,
Bernadeschi,
so
yeah,
those
there's been some guys who did not care at all.
recency bias is strong, but I feel like we are moving a little bit away from that, and I think you are seeing clubs spend big on their DPs in smart ways. Anders Dreyer stands out. Sam Surridge stands out. Evander, those lads who all could be playing in Europe, but have come here on big money. That's the kind of DP that's
Although
important.
I would argue that those guys aren't in the tier of legendary
Sure,
players.
Yeah.
sure, but legendary players, they're all going to Saudi now because there's more money there.
Because of more money. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I will say this though. I'd rather have players like Evander, the 27, 26-year-olds who are coming here who are not as well known, but are wanting to put that work in and that effort and be a part of the team, who could be sold for a higher price, than bringing your Thomas Mullers or your over-the-hill players from Europe. Because at the end of the day, why not have a player in his prime that's going to make a big difference, who has youthful exuberance, that's actually going to put in that effort to press and to play, than to bring in a 33, 34-year-old guy who doesn't really care.
We need more childlike wonder.
We
in
need more
Major League Soccer.
whimsy.
We need more whimsy and childlike wonder.
But you do realize as well, players know each other. They talk. They do their due diligence. I know, like Sam Surridge, who I'm apparently a massive fan of. Love that man. He texted everyone. He hit up everyone. He talked to his agents, his friends, his whatever. And he's like, is this a serious league, lads? And they're like, yeah, it is. And like that's the thing. They all talk.
Yeah.
So people know there are global perceptions that do change.
The reputation has gotten better.
Exactly.
One of the biggest things when it comes to recruiting these players, whether they're really big name like late career legends or these guys who are about to enter their prime who might be looking for more of a starring role, is infrastructure. We're talking stadiums, training facilities, the general sporting infrastructure of the United States compared to what you have in the rest of the world. How does MLS infrastructure stack up against the stuff that we see everywhere else? Raheem, go first, because you have played in a lot of it.
Listen, I played for the Philadelphia Union Academy, and when I was there, we were literally at this thing called YSC Sports, which was a training ground that we rented in Wayne, Pennsylvania, and our school was basically a makeshift office. There was 50 guys, think about it. Austin Trustees, Mark McKenzie, Brendan Aronson.
A lot of national team guys.
Paxton Aronson, all these guys running around as kids. I went back to the Philadelphia Union facilities now, and it's on par with some of the European academies, if not better than the European academies I've seen. We're talking a full school with 2 floors. We're talking about 6 grass pitches. We're talking about an indoor field house that they're now hosting a youth tournament in, playing against the likes of Benfica and Newcastle United and beating these teams from Europe. The game has changed when it comes to infrastructure, and MLS has been putting so much money into their youth academies, especially the clubs that really care about producing young players like the Philadelphia Union, that when European teams come here, they're looking at it saying like, wow, like this is better than what we have.
I will say I went on one of those YSC visits with you, and I was very, very impressed with what I saw there. It's hard to imagine that is not world class. Tom, what do you think?
I think that's true. I agree with that, but also at the same time, this is where I will dispute it and go against my own argument. This is the one thing that holds MLS back. Everything, especially stadiums, have to be world class. And Don Garber is getting really pissy at the Vancouver Whitecaps right now because they can't agree on a stadium deal.
I know.
There are 7 clubs, I think, that don't have soccer-specific stadiums. There need to be, everyone has to have a soccer-specific stadium. Yeah. During his State of the League address that I was at a few months ago, that was one thing that Garber said. He was like, MLS 3.0, baby, like, everyone's got to have a stadium. And I don't care. And I believe the words are, like, we might have to make some tough decisions if people don't get soccer-specific
implying
stadiums.
Moving clubs to different cities, changing ownership groups, forcing people to sell. Yeah.
Well, but do you know how many markets there are as well who'd be dead thirsty for that? Like
so many,
Sacramento, Indianapolis, Vegas.
It's really good. Tom, you've talked with a lot of guys who played internationally, who are not from the U.S., who then moved to MLS, regardless of their status as a big star, a DP player, or what. What are their first impressions when they get to MLS about how the facilities and the stadiums are?
Do you remember Wessam Abu Ali?
Yes.
So he comes to our media day or our tent at media day.
And where did he play before? Give us a little background.
Basically, he's played in Europe, played
in international football for
exactly.
Denmark
He's played
as well.
international football. And I asked him, I was like, mate, what do you think of the Columbus Crew Stadium? And he goes, it's top, to be fair.
Which I want to give him credit. Probably the funniest player that I've ever talked to in any sport in any of my jobs. So if you're listening to this, I know that you would love to hear that because he specifically was like, I'm funny.
Literally.
Two, really funny that the Danish guy with like Palestinian heritage throws in like English slang in all of his stuff. But yeah, he was very complimentary of the way that MLS facilities are.
And I think you're seeing a lot of that. I think that is the perception from a lot of people. You definitely had this thing, and I go back to the Gerrard one because of some sort of fan affiliation, where he has kind of said, like in his post-LA Galaxy career, like, I don't know about all of this, guys. Like, some of it wasn't great. And then if you talk to, like, MLS legends who are like, yeah, man, we were walking through, like, high school gyms to get to, like, the Dallas Burn field.
It was like that.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Union used to train, like, at a local park.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they had Freddie Adu and those guys who were playing for the club. Like, it was dark, bro.
Yeah.
The guys who first started this MLS stuff, like, they was really going through it, bro.
They flew commercial.
They flew, that's my
They flew
favorite.
economic class.
They flew economy class. They had Beckham like maybe in first class, so he wouldn't leave.
Beckham would always get his own private jet. But the funniest thing I have ever heard, Thierry Henry used to fake phone calls in airports. So he'd like fake being on the phone while he walked through.
So nobody interrupted him because you'd be on a regular flight with regular people.
And all the New York Red Bulls, there were like 20 of the guys on the squad, all wearing Red Bulls tracksuits, and no one
Not me,
gives a
bro.
fuck.
Nah, Omri walked past me. I don't care. Bradley Redfield walks past me. I don't care. I'm stopping Luis Robles.
Luis Robles.
I'm stopping Luis Robles.
I love it.
That's my goat. 12-year-old me would have told you that Luis Robles is better than Iker Casillas.
That's crazy.
All right.
I guarantee you put Luis Robles in that Real Madrid team, 4 championships. All right, so
Shout out Luis Robles, though.
a lot of people talk about championship, people talk about the Eredivisie in the Netherlands, they talk about the Brazilian Serie A. Are MLS stadiums, club facilities better than what those leagues have, like overall?
It's different, right? Because all of those other leagues, they have heritage. They have aura. Like, you can't beat Anfield. You can't beat the Bombonera. What MLS can do is build really good stadiums to watch soccer in, and that's what it's doing. Austin FC Stadium's great, man.
It's fantastic.
Q2?
Right.
Q2's valid.
We've been to All-Star at Columbus and Austin, and it's hard to imagine that there are better soccer-specific stadiums than those.
What it can't do, and this is the American thing, it can't recreate the vibes, but if you can put together a really good product, then that's the key, and it's getting there.
You can also argue, like, if you build it, they will come. If you have...
I don't get that reference.
Tom, you lived in the United States for half of your life. You can't not get the Field of Dreams reference, all right? But you have world-class stadiums. You're attracting some world-class players. Fans are going to take note of that. More kids now than ever are growing up as soccer fans and want to go see their local games. And then eventually you pack those stadiums out repeatedly, and you're going to have a really good culture combined with that really good infrastructure.
Raheem, what was the first MLS game you went to?
Toronto FC against AC Milan back in like 2011. It was like a preseason friendly, and Mario Balotelli was playing for AC Milan. And after the game, me and my sister camped out of the AC Milan hotel just so I could meet Balotelli.
That's
I didn't
awesome.
get to see him. I didn't get to see him, but I saw a glimpse of Steven El Sharari.
Hey, yeah, you saw him. He was like,
For the streets!
got out of the car, and his mohawk was just like 3 feet
That
up.
that was real lore, bro. Real lore, bro.
Didier Drogba signs for Montreal Impact back when it was Montreal Impact. I'm in Lower Manhattan in Little Italy with my family, getting some dinner. I think it was my parents' anniversary. So we all went as family.
Happy anniversary.
Didier Drogba's new Montreal Impact are playing at New York Red Bulls this weekend. It was like a Saturday. He had just signed on that Thursday, right? It was really close. So he was not in the team yet. And keep in mind, I remember that was like my first Champions League was when his Chelsea squad beat Bayern in the Allianz for the Champions League.
Crazy goal that as well, isn't it?
My family and I are walking down the street in New York as Montreal Impact are there, and coming up the street is undeniably Didier Drogba with a girl on each arm. Like, I thought it was like a joke. Like, I thought that was like a caricature when you're like, dude, this guy has so much aura that there are like 2 women with him walking. Swear to God, he walks right past me, and I like tapped my brother because we had played a lot of field. I was like, bro, did you see who that was? Had no idea. But it was really cool, and I saw him when he first came over for that, and I remember how insane it was to me. They're like, oh my God, TD Drogba's playing MLS. That's crazy. And now we have Messi and Son and all these guys who are still playing really good football. So we talk about the infrastructure, the player experience. But what about the fan experience? Raheem, I'm going to ask you this because you've been to a lot more European games than we have.
Yeah.
How does the MLS fan experience stack up against the rest of the world?
Listen, man, it's not even close, bro. I'll tell you this, man. You go to an MLS game, it's kind of hell in them seats, bro. First of all, you got little kids running around with ice cream, not even focused on the game.
They're playing football under the bleachers like it's a high school football game.
You got people drinking beer, sipping on beer, talking to their co-workers about work while the game's going on, not even caring.
Guilty.
Yeah, I was going to say, it couldn't be us.
Don't even know what's going on. I got people asking me what offsides is. Like,
They're just coming up to you.
it's like, dang, you didn't watch Football for Dummies before you came to the game? But in all seriousness, though, I really wish football had culture in America. And it's a shame because, like we talk about, football's not ingrained in our culture, man. Some of us have become fans from playing FIFA. Some people have recently become soccer fans from watching the game through Instagram or watching an iShow Speed video. But for a lot of Americans, they never grew up on that history and culture. Like Tom, we talk about his family, Liverpool fans through and through, passed down from generation to generation. Unfortunately, we don't have that. So then you get people who come to games as like a social event, you know, something cool that they could come to. Maybe they got the tickets off a Groupon 2-for-1 special. And they just want to bring a friend to the game. Yeah. In Europe, you seeing real authentic fans. In South America, you seeing people, even I played in the charity match for the Kings League. 60,000 people packed in Allianz Stadium for a Kings League game.
For a charity match.
That's not even a real Palmeiras Corinthians game. I couldn't even imagine what that was.
Yeah.
So when we look at the history and culture of football in America, I'm hoping that it could get to that level. But for starters, man, we just need some chance, bro. Because this "I believe we will win" thing is not going to work.
I believe.
It's not
I
gonna work.
believe that.
So I will dispute that on two fronts. Soccer hasn't properly existed in a professional setting here. I mean, MLS has been around for 30 years, but it hasn't really, has it?
They were flying commercial a decade ago.
Exactly, man. Like, there hasn't been time for a professionalism around the game, or, sorry, a fan, like, I suppose a professional fan environment, right?
Fan culture
to grow. So, and that has to happen authentically on its own terms. One thing I will say, though, and this is my second point, is that a lot of the diehard MLS fans are foreign. Right, that they're guys who are from Germany, who are from Argentina, especially in Miami's case. Mate, we're at, an MLS Cup final, get it, bit of a special case.
Yeah.
But they're chanting in Spanish really loud with drums, and one of them almost hit me in the face.
I was not shocked because it is MLS Cup final and it's in Miami, but I was pleasantly surprised by how good that environment was.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's quite cool as well is that you're increasingly seeing traveling fans at MLS games that have supporter sections there. I was at DC United game in 2019. I was actually volunteering there at the time. I was still in college. But these lads kind of walked through. There's this big gang, like, it must have been, maybe 50, 100 people, just all in black and red jerseys. And they're going like, Atlanta United. And I'm like, this is cringy as but like, they're pulled up and they've had a few bevies. Like, this is the point. Yeah. This is how it starts. So, yes.
We have a coworker in the UK who's on the UK social team who does a really, really, really funny American impression of the Seattle chants. Yeah, where he goes, "Come on, Seattle!" Like, that's a lot of times MLS fans are stereotyped as cringe or not real or fake or whatever. Raheem, what do you think about that stereotyping?
Listen, bro, there's real MLS fans out here. Like, I'm saying all this. There's European fans and South American fans, but there's some people who straight up only watch MLS. I remember one year in particular, we went to MLS Cup and we're interviewing fans, and I asked them, would you want Mbappe starting for your MLS club or Cucho Hernandez? And he was like, Cucho Hernandez. I don't know who Mbappe is.
Legend.
You know how crazy that is to me? Like, how do you know Cucho Hernandez, your DP, but don't know Kylian Mbappe? Like,
Mbappe has never done it in Cincinnati on an away day in Cincinnati.
But that's the type of stuff that we see in America. Genuinely, it's like some people who are fans of MLS legit only watch MLS. That's the only league they watch. That's the only league they support. And I find that kind of cool because it's like, you support the league so much. You so blind to everything going on in the world except for Columbus Crew. Yeah. Like, you got to respect that.
I'm going to switch that question a little bit, and Tom, I'm going to ask you this, right? We see a lot of people who love MLS, but I know a lot of friends who love soccer, who watch all Champions League games. They got a Premier League club. They religiously watch the Prem every single weekend. Never been to an MLS game. Don't know anybody in MLS besides Messi and Thomas Muller and Heung-min Son. What does MLS need to do to attract those fans? because there's a lot of Americans who are big soccer fans who don't know or care about MLS.
Corbin, are you talking about our group chat?
Yeah, I'm talking about that. Tom, I'd never see you in there talking about the New England Revolution.
No, because every time I do, I get told to shut the up.
Everybo's talking about Prem, and then Tom's like, you see New England Revs versus Philadelphia Union
how
on
that
Wednesday?
I'm like, lads, Jack McGlynn, nice interleague signing that. Good use of the cash for trade.
Hey, nobody. But what does MLS have to do to attract those American fans?
Keep doing its thing. Make sure the product is good and get people to watch games, man. What, like, just go to a game. That's all you have to do. We had Stu Holden in here. He said, like, the best way when people ask him how to get into soccer, he just says go to a game. Mm-hmm. And that's it. You've just got to go. If you sit around and watch from afar or hate watch, like, none of those things are conducive to actual support.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's entertaining.
It's very entertaining. The average MLS goal meme is real for a reason. You will see crazy stuff week in and week out.
Dude, you'll see a banger. Center back. I seen Kamal Miller score one from like 40 yards. He's a center back. You ain't seeing Premier League center back strike it. If anything, they getting sub for that, bro. You think Pep Guardiola flying Mark Gay?
Only example, Vincent Company versus Leicester 20.
Chill. We don't need to bring that up. I resign from this podcast.
The only thing that I'll add to this that I don't know if you guys touched on is that it does take time. When we think of the big leagues in the U.S. that have big fan bases, like I have an uncle in Boston, great guy, most Italian North End Boston guy ever. And you go in his basement, and it's like you have stepped into the TD Garden. It's Celtics banners and Patriots stuff and the Red Sox. But you go down there, and like he was a fan of those teams because his dad was, and his dad was a fan of those teams because when he moved to the U.S. from Italy, everybody was a fan of those teams. Like, dude, you have to do this. MLS has existed for like 1/6 of his life, and we're only now getting for the first time people like passing down those traditions to their kids because the league has only existed for one generation of people. I think that whenever anyone is like, oh man, I mean, nobody goes to MLS compared to the NFL. Like, yeah, dude, the NFL's existed for like your great grandpa could have been a Jets fan. You know what I mean? And we're only now starting to see that happen with soccer in the U.S. and MLS in the U.S. And I think that give it another 50 years and it's going to be really different. And like maybe Seattle will be doing the come on Seattle, but it's like my grandpa used to do this.
No, we need that. We need that tradition for sure.
Right. I guarantee 40 years from now, people will be like, fight and win is a classic. Don't ever say anything about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guarantee it because it just comes with time. All right, guys. So we've talked a lot about MLS today. And MLS is actually good right now, or maybe it's not there yet. It will be in the future. Yeah. I'm going to give you two guys like 30 seconds to kind of sum up your argument, starting with you, Tom.
MLS is good. People need to be happy with it being good and trust that it will get better because it will.
Raheem.
MLS needs to take the training wheels off. Let these clubs dictate the players that they want to sign. Open up the salary cap and the budget so that you're able to compete with some of the world's biggest leagues. And also, MLS, we need to produce our first American star in order for people to be, in order for the league to be more appealing to other people as well.
Kevin Sullivan, do your thing.
Yeah, no, seriously. Listen, Tom, I think that you have convinced me throughout this. Although I would say neither of you guys are really wrong. Raheem, you made really good points. Tom made really good points. All right, we'll end this one on a fun topic here. You take 20 NYCFC Ultras and 20 Millwall Ultras and put them in a room and let them fight. Who comes out on top?
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah. An NYCFC Ultra threatened to
That's crazy.